Hello. What a way to start a live. I don't know what I thought that was. Something just got stuck to my hand. To be fair, my son and I were just out in the garden. We had to come in and clean up a bit. He was covered in dirt. We were looking for roly-polies. So I don't know what I thought it was. It's like a crumb. Yeah, it's like a chip crumb. But it got stuck to my hand. It creeped me out. So anybody who's watching the replay of this is going to be like, what the heck? But hi, everyone. Welcome in. Everyone who's popping in on Instagram. I'm just here to hang out again. I did try to go live on the Clock app because I have not been able to go live on there at all. I haven't been able to go on and talk about the webinar we have coming up or anything that I have coming up or answer questions or anything at all. So for some reason, my internet in Indiana will not let me go live on TikTok, but somehow it supports me going live on Instagram. It might not be super smooth, but here we are. So yeah, I'm back. I am going to keep talking about the webinar that I'm going to be on the panel of on August 18th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can get your tickets. The link is in my bio, and there's also a webinar highlight, but I'm also here to just answer questions in general. It doesn't have to be about abuse or abuse recovery or trauma. You can ask me anything as long as it's respectful. I am just here to be available and hang out on this random Thursday night in August. I will say that I'm coming up on my birthday. My birthday is a week from yesterday, and it's going to be a big day for me because if you saw my birthday video from last year, you know. The birthday video is what brought a lot of you to my accounts because it went mega viral. I think it has probably 36 million views between Instagram and TikTok, which is just mind-boggling for me. But it's going to be a different, I'm not doing anything special for my birthday, but it's going to be a very different year for me. And I'm excited to turn 35 and not have to worry about anything. So hey, Kat, welcome in. I'm glad you're here. I know it's frustrating that I can't go live on the other app. For some reason, Indiana doesn't like TikTok. So here we are. How's everybody doing? Again, just hanging out. I was live the other day. I don't usually go live more than once a week on Instagram. Probably not even that often, but here we are. I wanted to be available. It is clock is ticking till the webinar on August 18th. So I want to be able to answer people's questions about that, see if it might be something that's helpful for you, or again, just hang out and talk about whatever. There are a lot of new people popping onto my account these last few days. So welcome if you are new here. Introduce yourself. Tell me where you're from if you want to. Hello, YouTube friend. I'm also live on YouTube right now. I am trying to grow my YouTube channel to the best of my abilities. I obviously can't be successful on every single app all at the same time by myself, but I'm live on YouTube and there's one person on here. So hello. Thanks for your content. Thank you so much. I always appreciate when people say thank you. You obviously don't have to, but it really does mean a lot to me and keeps me going. I'm still itchy from the garden. I have really interesting sensory issues, and I get really itchy when I'm in nature, even though I love being in nature. Oh, see, now I'm thinking about it. I was wondering why I got two different notifications. Yep, here we are. I'm on both. That is a hack that either Lee Hammock or Ben Taylor from Raw Motivations, Mental Healness or Raw Motivations taught me. They're like, do a double live, go live on both of them, and double whammy. So it works. The braids worked, huh? They're a little frizzy. And it just took just now, when I first took them out, this part was really flat, of course, because I started the braid here. And it's a little frizzy. I didn't put any, my friend told me to put some hair milk in it. And I was like, send me the products because I don't know what's good for my hair. Because it's one of those things where I don't know how to take care of it. My hair is actually wavy, not like this. This is like kinky, but my hair is wavy, but I don't know how to take care of it. And I didn't put anything in it. She's like, you have to like wait till it's dry and you have to put the milk in so it's not frizzy. And here we go. This is, this is what we're dealing with. But yeah. Okay. Sorry. This is not good. Okay. Comment from YouTube. X keeps lamenting about his mistakes. I don't have his answers. How do I navigate that while settling our property? I don't know what you mean by I don't have his answers. It is really hard. I think the most important thing is like when you're in the process of dividing property or things or like going through a divorce, figuring out what to do with kids, when anything is at stake, like that they could sue you for or do something to punish you, like revenge kind of things, because like obviously with abusive, toxic people, you have to be very careful. And if it's not a situation where you can just like pop out, which usually it isn't with these people, just be really careful, lay low, try to use the gray rock method if you can. It did work for me. It can be dangerous if the person is aggressive, like physically violent. So just kind of like, you know, when he's like talking to you and talking about his mistakes and kind of like guilt tripping you and trying to make you feel like he's sorry and changing and all that stuff, just be like, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Okay. Active at all. Don't get involved in conversations. And just try your best to have like minimal contact. Thank you for asking. I just got off the phone with my abuser for what I hope will be the last time. He told me we should have been together and everything would have turned out great for us if you would have just learned how to concede. Yeah. So blaming it on you. I experienced the same thing where like at the very end, they know they're losing you. They're going to do whatever I can to give you that last little sucker punch of like, you're welcome. That last little sucker punch of like seed of doubt in your mind. And it works. So most likely you'll start to have a seed of doubt like tomorrow, next day, next week. You'll say, wait a minute, did I do this? Did I do something wrong? Could I have tried harder? Hey, Ben, I was just talking about you. How's it going? And now you're doubting yourself. But they do that on purpose. And again, mine did that on purpose because it was like, you're doing this. You don't have to leave. It doesn't have to be this way. You're overreacting. And the next day when I was by myself, I was like, I think I'm overreacting. I think I blew this out of proportion and I should go home. And I didn't. So just stick with it. If you can, block him. If, like you said, hopefully for the last time you had a phone conversation, obviously he's spouting stuff out and most likely, you know, not anything that you're not getting closure. You're not doing any, you know, like anything like that. So try to block him if you can. Going well, setting up for my live and saw you on. Awesome. Well, if I don't stay on here for too long, I will pop on yours and say hello. I hope your live goes well. Hopefully next week I'll be able to join the live on Wednesday. Hopefully I won't be crying and dramatic like I was yesterday. Oh, what a mess. Family, y'all. Family is so hard. I am in a place where I came home to be with my family, and then I realized that family was not it. There are some family members that are great, but it is very hard when you're trying to heal and break your pattern and protect your peace, and you have a family member or two family members that are like not into it. It is hard. It is hard. And they'll mock you and they'll call you dramatic and they'll call you the problem and all that stuff. And what's on Wednesday? So Wednesday nights, if I have it correct, Ben from Raw Motivations and Lee from Mental Healness go live on YouTube and Facebook every Wednesday night at like 9 p.m. Eastern time. And I was able to go, I think you saw it, Kat. I was able to go live with them one time, but they invite others of us from the Narc Avengers, the newly named group of, I think there's 15 of us content creators who are educating about narcissism and doing one-on-one coaching and offering healing advice and information and things like that. And they go live every Wednesday. So I was only able to join once, and I was going to join last night, but you know, we talked family issues. So hopefully. No, you know what? I'm not going to be on it next week because next week is my birthday and I'm going to have a good day and I'm not going to worry about anything but being happier than I was last year. Keeping it simple, just, you know, not eating 1,000 pounds of blueberries because I'm nervous and don't know how to react because I'm being recorded and blah, blah, blah. 16 of us now. Did we add that person that we were talking about adding? Did I miss something? My internet is so sketchy here that half the time I get notified that I have messages, but I can't actually open the app and read it. That was last Wednesday. We all did. Next month, I think the 7th. Oh, I thought it was last night. Okay. Oh, awesome. Okay, the 7th. We'll figure it out. I meant to message you, but congrats on passing your exam. Thank you so much. Oh, also thank you for the donation, whoever did that. If I do put donations on Instagram, which I don't always remember, I will always do the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Oh, it's been 16 since Ashley. Okay, yeah. All right, 14 of us and 2 self-aware narcissists. The narc of interest profile threw me off. I was like, what's the number? What was I saying? Oh, yeah. And so I saw on the news this morning, my mom actually watches the news, that the hotline is swamped. They're getting more calls than ever for help, and they don't have enough people. They don't have enough hands on deck. And Gabby Petito's, we all know who Gabby Petito is. Her mom was on talking with the hotline, and Gabby's foundation, the Gabby Petito Foundation, is now raising money to give to the hotline.org so they can hire more people to be answering the phones, because they don't want people who are in desperate need of help to be waiting 15 minutes to be seen or spoken to, or whatever you want to call it. So thank you so much to whoever donated. Let me see if I can see you. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. I see you. Girl, we need to get you a calendar put together. I know. So I have a really nice, really awesome planner, and I left it in Washington because it's bulky. And I was like, I'm not bringing this to Spain. I already have to bring my laptop. I'm going to travel light. Okay, I had it on a full piece of lined paper like you have in high school, because that's what my mom has here. And this is my August up until the 16th. And I don't have that much going on right now in August that I have written down, but this is just what I have. And you better hope that I remember to write down all my jobs and everything. Oh, yes, last night was also, next week is just Lee and me. Okay, yeah, but all of us will be first Wednesday in September. Got it. I will try to write it down and be there, because that would be awesome. Actually, I'm going to be in Spain, so I'm not going to be there. Oh, man. No one can keep track of me anymore now that I'm free. So when I was younger, I traveled all the time. And some of you who follow me and know me and are seeing this new me, or maybe you knew me before, or maybe you saw glimpses of me when I was in an abusive relationship. I had a blog. It's probably still out there. I don't know. But it was called Catch Me If You Can, because that is how hard it is to keep track of me when I'm happy and traveling and doing my thing and not worrying about what anyone else thinks. So catch me if you can. Try to keep track of me if you can. I can't even keep track of myself, and I love it. That is the most amazing freedom. I love it. I was gonna try to travel for my birthday this year, but because I wanted to be far, far away from where I was last year. But my son's dad was supposed to be in Greece, so I postponed my August trip by a week, which is fine. We'll celebrate. I'll be with my family on my birthday, so we'll be good. But there better be something special on the 16th. FaceTime? I'll remember this year, especially because you reminded me. Actually, I have a job that day. Where's my pen? I'm going to write it down because last year I forgot, even though I said I wouldn't. Done. Okay. I remember. I was supposed to remember and I forgot. So how is everybody else? Everyone's pretty quiet in here. I see there's quite a few people in here. A lot of times when I get talking or people are asking me questions and we're having little conversations and things like that, I feel like people kind of hang back and aren't sure if they want to ask, but feel free, feel comfortable. Usually my lives are incredibly safe spaces to share what you're going through or ask questions or whatever you need from this time that I have with you. So you were close last year. It's the thought that counts. Yeah, I think I remember the next day. I remembered that it was the day before. I didn't get it wrong, but it still is crap when you forget someone's birthday. At the same time, last year was horrible for me. Last year at that time, as you know, we were so close to breaking up and my head was not on straight and it was just such a mess. I wouldn't say my head is on straight now either. I just showed you this little thing and I wrote your birthday down in colored pencil. It's fine. You know who's really organized is Ben Taylor. I've seen what he does and how he runs all of his stuff, and it is no wonder that he's very successful. So, and I'm just chugging along. I'm grateful for everyone who's here because I'm not the most organized, but yeah, I am here. I'm just a human. What else? Hello, everybody who's just popping in. I'm glad you're here. Say hello. Tell me where you're from. A lot of you are probably new here, so introduce yourself if you feel like it. Yeah, ask me anything. You're getting there. I'm proud of you. Thank you. Yeah, it helps that like I've been having someone help me with the website and helping me like organize and giving me tips and like things to just help me be more successful because it's like 100% humidity in Indiana right now. Like even in the house, I feel like I'm melting. Oh no. Happened. My internet is acting up again, so I apologize if I am cutting out at all. Kelsey from Lancaster, PA. Welcome in. How's it going? Welcome, everybody. Again, I'm just here. I will continue to remind you all that I have this webinar coming up. It's not my webinar. I'm on the panel. We will be talking about why it's so hard to leave an abusive relationship. It's super affordable. If you can't make it on the day of, you can always watch it afterwards. So I will keep reminding you of that because it's just a couple of days away. And so I want to, keep putting that out there and kind of talking about some of the things in the book, some of the things we'll be talking about when we interview the author and things like that. But I'm happy to talk about whatever. Many red flags and unhealthy things going on, but he is apologetic and seems like he's sorry for the things he does, but nothing changes. So that's the biggest thing to look out for, because you can apologize all you want. You can say sorry all you want. You can promise to go to therapy and promise to change and promise whatever. But if you're not changing, if that person's not changing, then the promises are not sincere. Even if this person is not a narcissist and they genuinely like wish they could change and like have good intentions, if they're not changing, that's something that you need to consider is like, what are you willing to put up with and for how long? How long are you willing to have the same? Yes, of course. I'll be right there. Okay. For me, I found my journal writing from, now 2 years ago and 3 years ago. And I read my journals and realized that nothing had changed. So the things that I was being told, oh my gosh, we're doing so much better. We fight less. We're solving this. We're solving that. We're agreeing on things more. That was all gaslighting. I was being told that we were healing, that they were doing so much better, that, our relationship had come so far. When in reality, when I read the journals from 2 years ago and 3 years ago, nothing had changed. And I realized that. And that's when I started looking up what's going on here. And that's when I found out what a trauma bond was. And I was like, I do not love this person. I am in a trauma bond. Get me the F out of here. How do I fix this? Am I breaking up on YouTube or on Instagram? Because it sounds like I'm breaking up a lot on YouTube. Probably because there's too many things connected to the internet right now. Let me go get my son a quick snack. Somebody let me know how Instagram is going. But yes, Kat, I wish you could moderate as well. But TikTok doesn't work for me, so here we are. All right, buddy. Because YouTube will always just make you keep watching stuff forever if you don't stop it yourself. YouTube wants you to watch all the things. Don't judge me. We've had a huge day, so we're each having our me time, and he's watching Evan Storm on YouTube. So you're fine on here. Okay, good. Well, I'll keep going on Instagram and YouTube. Obviously, hop off if it's not working for you, and if it keeps telling me that it's not working, then I'll pop off there as well. You're fine on here. Okay, good. All right. Let's see. I'm in the same boat. Oh, hi, Meredith. Welcome back. Been thinking about you. I stop talking. It's like my eyes just glaze over and I'm like half asleep. I'm like, what's going on here? I can't go to bed yet. Ugh. Hi, Hillary. How's it going? Welcome in. I'm glad to see everyone tonight. We're just hanging out, talking. You can ask me anything. I'm happy to share whatever it is you need to hash out. I am going to keep reminding you that the webinar on basically how to leave abusive relationships, why it's so hard to leave, that is going to be on August 18th. The tickets are, the link is in my bio. And also, hey, Jamie, welcome in. There's a highlight on my Instagram as well where you can find. It's so hard. And I think there's spiritual abuse going on as well, which is such a crazy thing. Spiritual abuse is a huge, I mean, any kind of psychological abuse is insidious. It is so hard to work through and try to understand and sift out what's real and what's not. Spiritual abuse does have an added layer to it because there's added guilt and shame around, obviously, these outside expectations of what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. And that is, yes, a very, very complex added layer. I'm sorry you're experiencing that. Rachel, I'm not married, but same boat. He's an addict, alcohol. So it's like I'm in a relationship with two people and the sober version feels really bad about everything. So it's tough. Yeah, Jekyll and Hyde. So yeah, and a lot of people use addictions, whatever they might be, as sort of like an excuse, or like either we excuse they're struggling. And that is partly true. Like they are struggling. They are traumatized. They do have issues that we can be compassionate about. But at the same time, it's not an excuse to be abusive. It's not an excuse to be Jekyll and Hyde. It's a very, very difficult thing to be going through. So I'm really, really sorry that you're experiencing that. My folks are staying with me. My mom's enabling my dad's behavior. It's driving me nuts. Any tips or just accepting it? Tips on just accepting it. Going to have to try and replay this and hope I can hear. Oh, yeah. So in terms of enabling, that is very difficult because parents are staying with me. Okay. I don't know what your dad's behavior is, but we have some enabling in my family as well. I have a family member who's just problematic. I don't fully understand what's going on, but it's always been an issue, something that I've struggled with, and I have chosen to be done for now. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm like, hey, I'm pushing back. I can't deal with this. And it is very hard to watch someone like be aware, maybe they're complaining about it, but then they continue to, it's like they're too scared to stand up to that person, or they're afraid of what might happen if they stop enabling that person's behavior. And so it keeps going on. And so essentially what you have to come to is what you're willing to tolerate. So they're both at your house, which makes it very difficult. And I don't know if there's any way to change that situation, but like, what am I okay with? Okay, I don't like dad's behavior. He can't stay with me anymore. Mom, you got to go too if you're going to enable, something like that. Or y'all can stay here, but because I'm so uncomfortable with the situation, I'm going to head out during the day. I'm going to hang out with my friends. I'm going to go do hobbies. I'm going to whatever you need to do to get those boundaries in place to feel okay. Because it feels yucky when we're stuck with enabling someone, watching someone be enabled, being abused, watching someone else being abused because they're enabling. And it's really, really messy, and just really learning how to set those boundaries will hopefully be helpful. How was your trip? Are you still on it? Which one? We've had quite the summer. I'm currently still technically not at my home base. Actually, technically, y'all, I don't really have a home. I stay with my son's dad, or I'm staying with my mom right now. We are still in Indiana, so we're technically not back to like real life. But again, real life is like this temporary situation that I'm trying to get out of, but may take some time because obviously there's a kiddo involved and it's just really tough because I have no desire to live in that area. But then if I want to move and live where I want to live, I have to take my kid very far from his dad for longer than like an extended trip. So that's where I'm at right now. That's where we're at. We have a lot of conversations around this. It can get heated. I'm not going to lie. It's very difficult because we have chosen to co-parent and put him first and do all that stuff. But then I'm realizing that I'm miserable. Like I am not happy. I don't like the situation, not because he's bad, but like I'm ready for a change. So wish us luck on that. We kind of have like once a week or twice a week, we have conversations like, what are the options? Like, how do we write our own story? Because there's a lot of pressure to be a certain way. And it's like, okay, well, we both have to be happy to be able to take care of him well. Anyway, that was kind of an offshoot. Nobody asked for that. Tells me to sit down and shut up and let him do all the talking because he is the head of the household and I am to be the submissive wife. I feel like an idiot because I see so many red flags looking back. Don't feel like an idiot. We've all been there. If you've been abused by anyone ever, or even not abused, but like maybe you date someone who's kind of toxic and you're like, why didn't I see that at first? This isn't someone I want to date, right? We're excited. We don't know any better. They have a mask on. We didn't have boundaries in place. And so it makes sense that you're missing the red flags. Out of the household, like traditional gender roles, church, religion kind of thing is very, very difficult because it does, like you are in that place of, did you say you're not married? When have you said you weren't married? So of like, submit or else because I am the man here. And that is very scary and very difficult to get away from. But obviously I know, you know, that that's not okay and you deserve to be heard and you deserve to be able to talk and not be like fear mongered into quote unquote respecting this person or whatever it is. I hate to hear so many similar stories, such misery. Yeah, it is very hard. And that was one of the things that is, and for 2 nights, I couldn't sleep. I just stayed awake and watched the comments roll in. Like I've never seen something like, I'm sure Kim Kardashian and whoever, like it happens every time they post something, just comments nonstop. And they probably don't read them. I don't know. But I was haunted because I wasn't like, I'm famous, I'm going viral, I get views. Like, it's not like I got money from it. It's not like it was like some creative. What else do you want, buddy? Let me take a look and I'll be right there, okay? It wasn't like some creative skit that I did that I was like, oh, cool. Now I'm going to get noticed by these people. And now maybe I'll get a different career because I'm like a choreographer or like, you know what? It wasn't like that. It was like, oh my gosh. How many people are being abused or have been abused and are seeing theirself in me or are going to come to terms with what they're going through because of this video. And also how many people are commenting on this video saying this isn't abuse and mocking me and mocking everyone in the comments. And it is devastating on both sides of the coin because it is so common and people are just now starting to talk about it more. Like I bet if you take, you know, let's say 10 of the closest people, you know, several of them are or have been through this, like several of them. It's just that people don't understand it. People don't talk about it. People don't understand what is considered abuse, you know, and it's a mess. Do you want cheese or apple? Nope, that was me. Okay, sorry. I don't like when I get people twisted, but I'm sorry. I try to remember. I'm married to very young children. Yes, that makes it tough. I just figured out what narcissism was about 1.5 years ago. I don't understand what was really going on. I thought maybe he was bipolar. I was just so confused about his behavior. He was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Same. So if you know my story, I was with my abuser for 2.5 years, and I had the same thing where it was like looking things up, trying to figure out like what could it be, like why is this two different people? But then also what's very common is, and Meredith, I don't know if you have this experience or if anyone in here did, but you kind of think you're the problem. So most of the things that I was researching for 2.5 years was me. Do I have BPD? I didn't think I was bipolar. Do I have disorganized attachment? Do I have this? Do I have that? And it's crazy. I'll be right back. I got to feed my kid. Continue to ask or talk amongst yourself. I tend to apologize for this, but you do know I'm a mother. So here we go. Do you want string cheese or some apple? Nice choice. And then if you're still hungry, I'll see what else we can do. I'm going to make me a salad. Oh no, I can't get it open. Hi, Pip. Pip, you're so tired. Remember, leave little bites and chew it up. Really good. You don't want these? I'm going to eat. No wonder you wanted another snack. Thank you for speaking up about this. I can relate so much. Thank you for saying that. And also, I'm sorry. Literally still not sure. I may be the narcissist, but I don't know. I'm pursuing counseling. Go figure out what the heck is going on. A lot of people who are being abused consider the fact that they might be the narcissist, because when you're being abused by a narcissist, you get what is called narc fleas. They call them narc fleas. So like their fleas get on you, and then you get their behavior. Like the fleas are their behavior. And you might have some narcissistic traits and tendencies because it does bleed onto you. But quite often, like what Meredith said, if you're sitting here going, I'm going to go to therapy, I'm Googling, I think I might be a narcissist, you're probably not. Very few narcissists think that and actually pursue it because they are so convinced that they're right, convinced that the people around them, all of their partners have been bad and wrong. And like, I keep dating the wrong people. I keep dating people who are crazy and going crazy. And okay, let me tell you this. I maybe shouldn't. I don't want to get too personal. So here's an example of like a narcissist not going to therapy because they think that it's everyone around them. I once had a conversation with my abuser because they walked into my house uninvited when I had left. It wasn't my house. I was staying somewhere. And I met them another day outside. I said, we can walk the dog and we can talk in public, because I had no intention of letting them near my son in the house again. And I said, you can't be walking into people's houses without permission. This is how you end up in jail. And they said, I'm no threat to you. And I said, you have harmed me before. And they said, I've never hurt you. And I said, you have hurt me. I said, I've never hurt you. And there was more to the conversation. Of course, it was very circular, but I said, you hurt this person? No, they hurt me. You hurt this person? No, they hurt me. And we're talking physical. No, they hurt me. I'm not abusive. I am not physical. I bring out the physical side in other people. So that is an example of a narcissist genuinely thinking that they're good and they're fine, but that they're drawing in crazy, aggressive, whatever people. So again, if you are like what you said to me, we all could be wrong because you never know. But like the fact that you're paying so much attention to your own behaviors and seeking out help and things like that tells me that you're probably not. Especially if someone is telling you that you're the narcissist, but they're also doing all of these other behaviors that are abusive. Can you explain Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? So this is a way to describe it goes along with the behaviors that narcissists tend to do in the abuse cycle. So they love bomb you. So that's one. I actually have never read Jekyll and Hyde, so I don't know which one is the bad one. They love bomb you. And so they're awesome and they're good and they're sweet and they're meeting your every need and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden when the mask falls, they're yelling at you. They're devaluating you. They're devaluing you. They're calling you names. They're asking why you can't do anything right, blah, blah, blah. Why aren't you like you used to be? All of this stuff. And then you start to notice something's off about them. Maybe you pull back, maybe you whatever, and they see that you're pulling back and they're like, crap. So they bring you the plant that you said you wanted last week in the store. So they write you a love note. So they have sex with you. Whatever it is that like you've been saying that you wanted in the relationship, now all of a sudden they're meeting all your needs. So they're back to Jekyll and they just back and forth between Jekyll and Hyde. Again, I don't know which one is which. So my husband calls me a sociopath and a psychopath on a daily basis. So those are two different things. Yeah, I don't think you can be both. I don't know for sure. I haven't studied either of those. I have read some about them, and there is some crossover with sociopath, psychopath, and narcissist. And of course, there's malignant narcissist, which is like next level narcissist. But like, I don't know if you can be both of those. And like, if you're going to be one of those, he needs to make up his mind. Like that's. But I can assure you that that's an abuse tactic. A lot of times, so it is very dangerous to go to therapy with an abuser. And it's also very dangerous for them to have knowledge of, like, for example, if they're a therapist or they've done mental health trainings, things like this, it's very dangerous because they will use it against you. They will diagnose you. They will pathologize you. They will tell you all the things that's wrong with you. And just the next thing you know, like you're convinced. I had a roommate who was narcissistic and he convinced me that I had BPD. I don't. And then my abuser convinced me that I had disorganized or fearful attachment, which I don't. But I did think I did at the time. I talked about having disorganized attachment. I was being abused. I had CPTSD. And now I talk about having CPTSD, but like, they will take your behavior, which is a reaction to their abuse for long-term, sustained, horrendous abuse. And now you're like broken down. You're not eating well. You're not sleeping well. You're whatever. And they're like, you're crazy. You have whatever from the DSM-5. And they will convince you of that. So be careful. And don't give them any words. Don't give them any knowledge because they'll start spewing it out even if they don't know what it is. Yeah, the internal reflection makes it pretty obvious you're not. Yeah, we're talking like zero ability to actually self-reflect. In the book I'm reading, which by the way is the author that we're interviewing on August 18th on why it's so hard to get out of these relationships, she uses the word for psychopath, sociopath, and narcissist, low conscience individuals. So we are high conscience individuals. We have empathy. We understand how other people feel, even if we don't like it, even if like, that person's kind of a butt poop head. I don't like my kids in the other room, so I'm not going to be like, me. We still have a conscience. And like, even if we do cheat on somebody, we hit rock bottom, we cheat on them, we have a conscience about it. We feel bad. We're genuinely crying. We feel guilty. We don't ever want to do that again, whatever. Whereas these people compartmentalize, they rationalize it. They're like, why I cheated because they were pregnant and couldn't have sex with me. Why I cheated because they don't wear lingerie and dance around the house like they used to. Now they're kind of like in their jammies like a regular person because we've been together for 3 years and I've abused the crap out of them and they don't feel attractive anymore. So I had to cheat on them. And they'll genuinely stand by that. Whereas like I could never. I could be like, no, I cheated on you. This is on me. Yes, the relationship wasn't great, but like I made this choice. I could have gone about it a different way. Very, very different conscience levels. So I like that term. I may start using it more. My brother-in-law said that all the time. Every girl that he broke up with was crazy. Yeah, that's a huge red flag. If you meet someone and very early on they're telling you that all their exes are crazy, what made them crazy? What is the, what's it called? I can't think of the word. It's a math term. What's it called? Someone help me. He threatened to spank me the other day. like in the heat of an argument. Then if I try to set boundaries, he traps me in the house. Lightly pushed me away from the door yesterday with child in my arms. Okay, so obviously I just got triggered. That is called entrapment. I experienced that a lot. And I know for a fact that I'm not the only person that my abuser did that to. That is entrapment, and entrapment is illegal. Nobody can stop you from leaving, block the door, tackle you, hold you down, take your keys, hide your keys and phone, lock you in a car and prevent you from getting out of the car. That is entrapment, and it is illegal. Thank you for feeling safe enough to share that. Obviously, that is really triggering for me. And I'm not trying to make this about me, but what I want you to realize, and I'm going to actively process this trigger in front of you all, is that is a horrible way to be treated. And Rachel, especially with your kid, if you can, and if you haven't yet, please tell someone close to you who you think might take this seriously, because that's not safe. And I know that you know that. It's never okay to do that. How to set boundaries with a narcissist. If you can't leave, if you have no way out, you probably can't, because you setting boundaries will piss them off, will make them do the opposite. They'll blame it on you. They'll make you out to be selfish. You're selfish for not wanting to be blocked from leaving. Something's wrong with you. And it can get dangerous. The abuse, they can twist it around on you, and then you'll stop trying to set boundaries because you'll be like, what's the point of this? The best way to set boundaries, and I know this isn't helpful if you feel like there's no way out, is to get out and go no contact and get away forever. Like that's it. Because unless they become self-aware and go to therapy and stay in therapy for the rest of their life, odds are that they're not going to change. Yes, you said it right. Sorry, I'm taking over this live, just realizing narcissism may be the issue, and I'm feeling so overwhelmed and clear-minded. I don't know if that makes sense. No, it makes sense, and it's okay. I'm, it's not like there's 900 people in here, but this is what I'm here for, so. Thanks, Jamie. Oh, thanks for watching all my reels. Thank you all so much for listening. This happens a lot, Rachel. So don't feel bad. This happens a lot where it's weird because sometimes I just come in here and answer a couple questions, and sometimes we'll just chat about whatever. But every couple of lives, someone comes in and is desperately in need of help right now. And the community that's in here is always amazing. I'm always so proud of and amazed by the people who are in my lives when this stuff comes up, because they're just so supportive. I've been with a narcissist too and have to co-parent with. Common denominator, thank you. I was like, what's the word? I couldn't think of it. We have not been sleeping well lately, so my brain is plus I'm not a math person. I am a language person though, so that one probably should have come to me. I'm sorry for triggering you. Don't apologize, because triggers are very important. And obviously it's only bad to trigger someone if you're doing it on purpose. That's my trigger, so you keep saying that to me. You're doing that to me every day. That's bad. Don't do that. But triggers are information to help us heal. So that triggered me. So that means that I need to work on, especially because I will be coaching, and it's very helpful for me as a coach to know what my triggers are, so that if someone says that, and you saw me start, I stopped and I was deep breath, I'm on the, I'm grounding myself. And so as a coach, I have to be able to be I'm going to grab my fidget and just, okay, so they blocked you from leaving, keep going, and be able to work through that. Because this is the amazing thing about coaching. We're not therapists, we're peers. So when I'm doing one-on-one coaching, I'm not a robot. I'm allowed to say, Rachel, I got really triggered by that, because I have been through that too. I'm not going to hijack the session. I tell a lot of personal stories on here. I will say, I have been through that too. Would you mind if we just take a minute to ground ourselves before we keep talking? I really want to keep talking about this with you, but let's both level out, right? And that's why I love coaching so much, because I'm not bound to be I'm allowed to feel things too. And that's why I will hire coaches for the rest of my life over therapists. No offense, therapists. There's a purpose for therapists too, but your possessions, even if that person bought the car for you or bought the phone for you, it is yours. I don't know how that goes in court because if they paid for it, I don't know. But like if you're a stay-at-home parent and they're paying for everything because you're not, we're like, it's yours. They bought you the car. They bought you the phone. That's your way out. That's your way to call for help. And they're preventing you from doing that. That's illegal. I was pretty much held hostage in my house too for a couple of days and was not allowed to use a phone to call anybody. Now, this was before we had kids, and he's a lot different now. He's better. He doesn't do that anymore. I just want to make sure that I understand. But yes, that's illegal. You cannot do that, although abusive people think that they can. And they get away with it because a lot of times we don't know any better. We don't know that it's illegal. We don't know that we can call for help. We don't know if people will take it seriously. We're protecting them. We're hoping that it's the last time that they'll change. I made a lot of content when I first left about why we don't talk about these things because it's very, very difficult to feel safe talking about it. That sounded bad. He's not a lot different now, but he has not held me hostage in my house is what yes. I think I talked about that recently where like the bar is so low with abusive people that if they stop doing something that's extremely harmful, but they're still doing things that are harmful, we're like, and this isn't nothing against you. This isn't like you're dumb because you're not. But we like the bar is so low. Like we have been fed such crap or nothing at all that we're like, yes, I will take that scrap of not so bad. Like you've been giving me crusty, moldy bread. I will take bread that nobody eats that's not crusty and moldy. Thank you. Bare minimum, right? And like we appreciate that. And actually that's the chapter I'm on in my book right now is like, we like our brains, we start to appreciate the, like, I'm going to say something that could be very triggering. I'm going to use the code word that people use on social media now, but like, you didn't unalive me and you could have, you were very close to that and you didn't. And that's really not healthy. And it's not our fault. It's because we've been brainwashed to appreciate nothing. And we're in a trauma bond and we're chemically addicted to them. But that's literally what I was just reading about is this like you said, that sounded bad. You're like, he's not that different. He's not great, but at least he's not holding me hostage. I see you. It's not okay. And it's not a way to live. Sorry. Now that sounds bad, saying this out loud, but he twisted it all around to make it sound like it's not even, that's what they do. It wasn't that bad. It's not that bad. You weren't trapped. I don't want to trigger you. I'm sorry. But yes, absolutely. They twist it around. Rachel, this is exactly where you need to be. Saying words like lightly shows you're still in defense mode for him and hesitant to talk about, but no, we're all here and it's a safe space. Thank you so much for that comment. You're right. That's so that I recently visited. We were scrolling back and, she was asking me a lot of questions and I was explaining things and just kind of like letting it all out. And we found a conversation where they had asked me, I did a post where I was like, someone recently told me that I was a bad person. And this is what I'm reflecting on. And she had asked me, she was suspicious. And she's like, who called you a bad person? And I was like, she said, I thought so. Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, it's not so bad. And I have plans to actually share that conversation, like blocking out the names, but I want to show what happens when you're simultaneously reaching for help. Like Rachel, right now, you're reaching for help from us. You want us to see you. You want someone, as survivors, especially when you're still in it, you so desperately want to just be like, I got to let this out. Like, purge this. But you're also still in it. You're also still in a trauma bond. And so it's almost like we like put it out there and we're like, actually, it's not that bad. And we are still very protective. And I did the same thing in that conversation. So thank you for saying that. I don't know what your name is. Oh, Kelsey. Thank you, Instagram. Kelsey. Because it reminded me like that conversation is so important because it's like real time showing like what Rachel just did. And Rachel, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're processing this out loud, and nothing that you're saying is wrong. I just want you to know that. We just settle for less. We settle for less because that's what we know. That's, again, in a trauma bond, you're confused. And cognitive dissonance, if you've never heard of that term, look it up. It's this constant bombarding of two very different thoughts. Like, my partner is bad and also good. This relationship sucks. I need to get the heck out of here. But also, like, it feels really amazing sometimes. Two very, our brains cannot have two opposite, fully conflicting informations in our brains at the same time. And so a lot of times, like, an example is, like, if you're like super eco-friendly and you realize like driving is horrible for the environment, but your car isn't, and you're like, I want to get rid of my car. I don't feel good about what I'm doing to contribute to like global warming and all this stuff. And then you're like, but you know what? I have a hybrid car. I don't use a lot of gas or like whatever. And also I only drive really 3 times a week. And so your brain solves that cognitive dissonance. Your brain says, no, I'm okay. No, okay. Your brain is like, okay, solved it. I can still be fighting for the environment, focused on, eco-friendly living and all that stuff. And I can still drive because I'm doing my best. This is okay for me. But you can't have like a car from 1975 that's like burning through gas like crazy, driving all the time just for fun, and be like, I'm going to save the environment, because your brain is going to be like, You have to solve it somehow. So that's what we are like dealing with. We're in these relationships because our brain, we can't solve it because it's constantly two different, like, there's no rationalizing out of it because you're constantly bombarded with like, they're horrible. Oh my gosh. After they prevented me from leaving the house, they went and bought me my favorite plant, and they went and got like they got chocolate. They want to watch a movie with me tonight. Like, and I would take pictures of those times. I would take pictures when they did sweet things, or when they would touch my feet, like, which was never, we're talking touch, not rub, touch. I'd be like, because you're so desperate, because you've been treated so horribly. So absolutely. My battery is low. Said he's going to make changes. So now I am in the we're good time. So I don't know. Still hard to forget all that's happened though. So you can't forget all that's happened. You can be confused. You can have, again, the highs and lows, ups and downs, the roller coaster, all that stuff. I suggest journaling if you can and you feel like you can hide it. So I had paper journals that they never opened. They just like probably didn't even actually care what I was writing. Whereas like, I wouldn't go through someone's journal, but in that horrible relationship, I'd be like, I wonder what they write, if they were like an avid writer, which they weren't, although they thought they were. Like, they think they're this like deep, like writing, reading, like philosophical person, but like, woo, but sorry, I don't usually say things like that. I try not to get like too specific about like who they are as a person, which I don't even know who they are. You don't really know who they are because they're taking on the qualities of whoever they're with. It's not really that, like, who even are they? I don't know. But I also had one on my phone that had a lock, and it was a different password from anything else. I can give you that app if you feel like you can hide it and he won't try to go through it. And journal. Like, I have lists in my phone of times that I would journal like our interactions. Like, okay, here was 3 good ones. Here's a horrible one. Here's a good one. Here's 5 horrible ones. And it helps you to overall understand what's going on. And then not only that, but like, are the good ones, are they really that good? And how bad are the bad ones? Like, these bad ones are horrible. And are the good ones really like, okay, they bought me a $4 plant from the grocery store while they were getting a couple of things that they also wanted. I'm not the kind of person who like expects to be treated like royalty. Like, I don't want, like, that's going to annoy me after like 5 days. Like, I'm a person, like, just get, like, I'm not a very romantic, like, lovey person, to be honest. But like, are you really actually doing something that's so nice that I need? Do you know of any resources who are survivors of straight female narcissists? A male friend of mine is getting out of something messy, and I want to be able to direct him to some resources. Let me ask. Shelby, would you mind sending me a DM after this? I will ask Lisa Sunny. She's stronger than before. She has a lot of connections, and she actually just made a video about women or non-men because, yeah, I use well, I don't know. I use they them pronouns for my abuser. I don't know what the heck they are or what they're doing or who they are, so it feels like a safe option for me. But like women, abusive women. So if you go to her page, or I can send it to you later, and you watch that video, it's all of us talking about like what non-men did to us, and you'll see men in there talking about women. There's some queer folks in there talking about women. It's going to be a couple videos back, but I can send that to you, and then you can send him those people. He has a 4-year-old with her. Yeah. Is it normal for narcissists to have idealist, visionary type personalities? He brags that we have a great marriage and I make bad things from nothing. Okay, that what you just said, I don't know, idealist, visionary type stuff. Yes, probably. But the bragging about having a great marriage too, we've been doing great lately. We've been going to therapy. Things have changed. We're doing better. You just only remember the bad things. That's gaslighting. So if you remember bad things, it's probably not because you're a pessimist. It's probably not because you can't appreciate anything. It's probably because the bad things are very bad. I think you would really benefit from the journaling Lindsay mentioned earlier. I did some a couple weeks ago, wrote in my notes, don't forget this feeling. And I kept looking back at it, and I'm very close to leaving. And when you leave, Kelsey, thank you so much for saying that. One of the things that I always advise is when you leave and you start to feel the, like, when the trauma bond starts breaking, because you have to go no contact to start breaking the trauma bond. If you can, some people have kids, so low contact. You're going to start like the puzzle pieces that were missing, because the whole relationship, you're finding little puzzle pieces and you're putting it together, but you can't see the picture. You don't have the box. You don't know what it looks like. You're just going from like whatever. Puzzle pieces start falling into your lap. You start to understand and look back and you're like, oh my God, that thing they did was super abusive. And so I would make lists, and my lists are called toxic shit you did and super toxic shit you did. And I can't remember what the other one's called. I don't know where my notebook is, but they're like funny lists. They're like funny names for the list. The other one's like, I don't know what the other one's called, but they're like 2 pages each. And just like, because you start to be like, that was not okay. That was not okay. And some of them are worse than others, but they're all bad. So definitely do that. Maybe don't do it when you're in it. And plus, when you're in it, you also won't be able to see and understand as much. I promise you, when you leave, when the brain fog clears, I mean, I still have moments of, I said one to Kat the other day. I don't know if Kat's still in here. It was like 2-3 weeks ago. I was cooking and I was watching something on TV and I was like, Kat, my ex used to say this to me and I think I understand what it really meant. And she was like, yeah, probably that is what it was. But thank you for sharing that. And I do hope that you get to leave as soon as it makes sense to leave. You've inspired me to start journaling our specific relationship stuff. Again, just be really careful to keep that out of his view, because that could be dangerous. And he could take it, burn it, hide it, because if he thinks you're going to show it to someone, if he thinks you're whatever, going to go public with it or something, he's just going to destroy it. So be careful. Email it to somebody. Email it to yourself at an email that you don't know if you have to. Like if you're in danger of it being found, and like delete the outbox or whatever. Also, I've been able to record some arguments. Makes me sick to listen back. I have a phone full of arguments and I try not to ever listen to them. But if I ever forget, which I don't, it's going to be there. And I have them backed up in several places because like it's horrendous. And the longer I go from being in it, the more I realize like how much I downplay how bad it was. And here I am. I'm almost a year single and I'm like 10 months no contact almost, and I still downplay it. And you probably will too, because it's very, very difficult to fully understand and accept the severity of these kinds of situations. Hola, Lindsay. Hola, ¿qué tal? Llevamos mucho tiempo sin hablar. Same, I record some arguments. Makes me sick. Yes. Proud of you guys for reaching out for the help. I hope you're able to make it out safely as soon as you're ready. Yes, absolutely. Hi, Emma. All right, I've been on for about an hour. I can take a couple more questions or comments. There's like a lot of people in here. If this is like still flowing really well, I'm happy to hang out a little longer. But I also don't want to like just be here just to be here. If people, I kept old text messages for 2 years after no contact because I needed to see how bad it was. Yeah, I have those too. Anything that's like proof of your abuse, even if you, so like I get them off my phone. So I like back them up, delete them off my phone so they don't ever come up, so I don't have to see them. So I'm not like, let me look that up. Like I have to dig it up to find it. And it's not necessarily proof of abuse to like publish. And I mean, I will use things if it makes sense to like share about something with obviously information blacked out because that's not the point. But it really doesn't. So yeah. I mean, if you don't have proof, don't go like starting arguments just to see what they'll say to you. Like we don't want to do that. But if you do have it, you know, screenshot, lock it away somewhere and stay sane. It's very hard to do. What would you do if a partner keeps cheating and apologizing and saying it's not you, I love you, and I make you want to work? That's abuse. I would, let me ask you this. Do you believe that they are genuinely sorry? Do you believe they're genuinely sorry and that they're going to stop? Is this something that's been going on for a long time? You don't have to tell us that. That's like, we talked about this earlier, I believe, before you came in, because I saw you hop in. It's every time I think you're going to leave, I'm going to promise you I'll get better. I'm going to promise you this and that. And they don't. It's fake. So yeah, if you don't believe it, if it's safe to do so, it's part of the manipulation. Yeah. I would try to work your way out of it because you don't deserve that. Do you believe it's possible for someone to heal from the generational trauma that affected their communication map, like has manipulative tactics and does gaslight, but it's not because that's all they... Yes. So if they are not a psychopath, sociopath, narcissist, anything else that would be similar to that, which I don't know, cluster B, and they have the ability and the drive and the awareness, and they say, like for me, for example, there's a lot of stuff that I realized that I got from my family and my upbringing, and I'm so itchy. It's all in my head though, my sensory stuff. Okay, not better. You have to realize and understand what it is. You have to be able to say, oh my gosh, that's gaslighting and that's traumatic for you. I'm harming you. I don't want to do that. How do I get better? To learn to catch yourself, to learn to, you know, instead of saying, I never said that, you stop and say, I did say that. I'm sorry. Like, I'm still learning how to communicate. My therapist and I are working on it. This is what they taught me. They taught me that instead of when I want to say this, these are some better options. And then you genuinely start to see changes. That's a different story. Because a lot of it, like, so for example, I know some people like that. And I give them the benefit of the doubt because, like you said, that's all they know. My mom's coming home right now. So, they don't know how to communicate well. They don't know how to share their feelings well. They don't know how to be vulnerable. Their parents were manipulative. Their parents were doing gaslighting, blame shifting, all this stuff. That's just what was handed down. Feelings we talked about. But they have to be willing to learn. Pip! Does my mom need let in? Hang on a second. Sounds like she's stuck. Oh, Mama! I'm on live here, so I'll wrap it up. My mommy doesn't want to be on the internet, so. Okay. A little bit, and I want to watch. We've been doing, sorry, I'm eating. Adler's been having trouble sleeping, and I was like really stressed out about it. I came on my stories the other day, and like last night I was like trying to get him in bed. I'm like, he's tired. I'm trying to get him in bed. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate that. You guys, I really appreciate that so much. Because I said this earlier, the hotline.org was on the news today. My mom watches the news, and they said that they are really low on people who can help right now. Like they need to hire people, and Gabby Petito Foundation, hopefully we all know who Gabby Petito is raising money to donate to the hotline to hire more people so that people don't have to wait, because they're saying that they're being flooded with calls now. More and more people are calling the hotline, which is incredible and wonderful. But they need help. So I really appreciate the donations, and I'll probably keep doing this every time I go live on Instagram, YouTube. Sorry, I don't know how to do that. I don't know if that's even an option, but anyway. So what we did last night, my mom and I, was like watch books on YouTube with him, and we all kind of like Ad and I cuddled, and my mom was there, and we picked books together. Like they like read the book to you, and I read to him too. But like we decided to do that and let him stay up a little bit later because he seems to be going through something. So, are there any resources for getting counseling? Like my husband controls the money, so making it difficult to get the help I think I need. I don't know what to do if the money is being controlled. That's also abuse, financial abuse. But unless if you can find like a shelter nearby that offers like, so the one that's like 45 minutes from my house offers all kinds of resources. So if you can find one, and reach out to them and ask if they have any resources, because I'm pretty sure it's free. So it just depends where you live. Definitely check into that. We have kids together too. Oh, I got you beans. Mina, I got you beans, and there's 2 cucumbers there. Do you see them? Welcome. I wasn't sure what to do with them once I brought them in because I didn't want them to get yucky, but he dug in the dirt and his whole face was like so dirty, but he got a bath. And then we went up front and looked for roly-polies. Okay. Then is loving and caring towards them and love bombs me and saying let's buy a house together and doesn't want to hurt you. Yeah, that's the cycle too, with the bebopping between love bombing and abusing. Well, love bombing is abuse as well, but it's just that back and forth, keeping you confused. Hey, keep and go. I'm from Australia. Sometimes what we do, we have no idea how can be good for someone else here in another way of the phone. I didn't quite understand that. I'm sorry. Just want to thank you for being who you are and online with such honesty and openness about your situation. You are amazing. Oh, thank you. You all are amazing. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the donations as well. I can't thank you enough. I haven't seen roly-poly since I left Idaho. They're actually everywhere. So I grew up in Indiana and they're here. He always finds them in Washington. And when we were in Spain, he was finding them all over Spain too. I'm like, I'm sure they're not everywhere, but everywhere we go, we find them. So they're his favorite bug. And tonight he was trying to put one on his face and trying to get it to crawl on his face because they would crawl on his arms and legs. And he was like, it was balling up. And I'm like, I don't think he wants to crawl on your face. It was super cute. So I told him when you came home, we'd switch to books. So my mom's home. It's 9:30 p.m. I'm going to go do special family time. So thank you all so much for hanging out. Again, thank you for the donations. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all your questions and for your trust in me. I'll try to be back another time soon. Don't forget, if you are able and want to come to the webinar on August 8:30 p.m., come to the webinar because it's going to talk about a lot of things that I talked about. We're going to be interviewing the author of the book, Why Can't I Just Leave? It's going to talk about trauma bonds, cognitive dissonance. Is that ice cream? Did you give Pat some?
No.
It is pretty late. You can have some tomorrow. And it's going to be a really great resource. And if you can't make it, you can have it emailed, the replay, to your inbox. The link is in my bio. And also there is a highlight on my Instagram main page called webinar. I would love to see some of you in there. It's going to be super helpful information. So do check that out if you can. Can my husband see if I'm interacting with this live? Do I need to? No. And I usually post the replay, but it doesn't show the names of the people who are commenting. I'm just reading it out loud. So obviously I'm not saying like your full name or anything like that, but nothing should pop up. You should be totally safe. Thank you for being with us tonight. Are there specific days and times you are live? No, because my life is chaotic. I would like to do that. I would like to be able to do that. As soon as I decide when I can do them regularly, I will absolutely post it on my stories regularly to remind you all to come in, because it's helpful for all of us. And you all seem to really appreciate it. So I would love to be able to do that for you. Thank you for everything. Thank you, everyone, so much. Yes, thank you, everyone. Okay, yes, Stephanie, thank you for saying that this page is public. So if he follows her, he can see you commenting. Yes, if he follows me, which he probably doesn't because I have like 9% men. And two, yes, if you comment publicly on my reels or anything like that, and he sees one, then he could see your comment. So obviously be careful if you're worried about that. But in this live, unless he's also in this live, he can't see you. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, and I will see you all soon. Is the garage door open? Did you just text me?
Oh, it just now came in?
Yeah.
Well, there was a crack, and I didn't know if the shed door was open. I was kind of trapped there because there was a meeting, and I didn't want to walk